Welcome to a new edition of VR News. Today's headlines: Avatar meta with legs. This time it looks real, but only on Quest 3. Quest 3 will render almost all games at a higher resolution by default, even those already in the catalog and without updates from developers. Quest 3, the first headset with XR2 Gen 2, but it won't be the only one. Mark's comment: okay. Pre-orders open from September 27 for the new Quest 3 headset, available on Amazon, with an expected release date of October 10th. Details in today's news. Bam! It's not an onomatopoeia, but the title of a mixed reality game coming next month to Quest 3. Quest 3 will enhance game graphics, but is it really its merit, or is there a trick? Among today's news, the mystery is revealed. Intense acrobatic aerial battles on PSVR 2 thanks to the arrival of Project Wingman, which also adds a new campaign. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is coming to Quest 3 this December. It's the first cloud gaming service on a standalone headset, but not for VR games, at least for now. Red Matter get a significant improvement on PSVR 2, and already technically perfect game surprises and gets even better. Hey Riffraff, welcome back to this new edition of the week's top news. As always, before we begin, let me thank this week's supporter, Christian. Thanks for your contribution and generosity. Speaking of which, there's something new, or rather something I always had but never wanted to exploit. However, considering some of your requests, I've decided to mention it now. If for some reason you don't want to donate, but you would like to help in some way, or if you cannot donate but would like to, here's a way to contribute. Go in description and use the link to my Amazon store. The links takes you to the Amazon website, but with my referral, so every purchase you make will earn me a small commission, and it won't cost you anything extra. You always pay the same price, but Amazon will give me a small commission. But if you want to help me earn a bit more, you can ask me for the direct item referral, like the link you always find in the description for purchasing the 128GB or the 512GB Quest 3. Using those links, my commission is slightly higher. So thank you very much to anyone who, from now on, wants to do their shopping on Amazon using my referral. And remember that my direct link referral earned me a slightly higher commission. Thank you very much. I will also thank everyone who subscribed to the channel, watched the videos all the way through, shares, comments, and now let's get started with the news. I know I'm about to tell you something that you will say, well, what's new? Many games already do that. And you're right. In fact, Meta is applying to its avatar a system already used in games for full body recognition, where the legs move according to how you move your body. For example, if you move within your play area, your avatar legs will walk. If you physically jump, your avatar legs will bend and then jump. If you crouch down, your avatar will do the same, bending its legs. However, Meta makes this possible not only through a body position calculation, but also thanks to the use of AI, which is much more faithful and realistic than the localization system used in video games. This feature combines two tools of the headset. The first is a system that monitors the upper body by the headset itself, while the other one, as mentioned, is the estimation made by an AI, but only for legs. But wait, don't start to jump when you receive your Quest 3, because this feature will arrive in December or by the end of this year. There's a lot talking about exclusives for Quest 3 that doesn't exist yet, and games that currently cannot exploit the increased power of Quest 3. However, no one talks about the fact that Quest 3 will improve the visual quality of games, even those you already own and play on your Quest 2, without developers releasing a patch to improve the graphics. All this is possible thanks to different factors: pancake lenses, higher resolution display, and, mostly important, greater rendering capacity thanks to the XR2 chipset, which offer about 2.5 times the performance of the previous processor. So, even though there are no exclusives at the moment, Quest 3 is already a way to experience current games from a different perspective. So, great promises are being made by Meta thanks to the presence of XR2 Gen 2, the Qualcomm chipset powering Quest 3, the first VR headset on the market with this chipset. But it won't be the only one. Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 is much more powerful than its predecessor. The GPU boasts over 2.5 times the power. It features a new NPU that automatically handles AI behaviors. Only the CPU lags slightly behind the previous one, but it's still 33% more powerful. As mentioned before, what's impressive beyond the GPU is this new NPU, which will enable autonomous positional tracking, reducing CPU energy consumption by around 50 milliseconds of pass-through latency reduction, space warp improvement, and increased super resolution sharpness. All of this, for now, is only available on Quest 3, although Qualcomm hasn't granted exclusivity to Meta, and so soon other headsets could use the same processor, even though we don't know which ones and when. Well, we already know that Meta Quest 3 is available for pre-order, with the first shipment starting in October 10. The available versions are 128GB and 512GB, and if you wanna buy it on Amazon, you can use my referral link you find in the description and in the first comment, priced at 550 euros for the 128GB and 700 euros for the 512GB. In short, I've already talked about all of this and much more in a video just few days ago, summarizing what was discussed during the Meta Connect 2023. So, if you want to know more, watch my videos. Oh, but first, finish watching this one. BAM! No, this is not the sound of your Quest 3 falling on the ground for the first time, because we all know that will happen for sure. In this case, however, is the title of a mixed reality game coming to Quest 3 next month. It's a fast-paced multiplayer game. Once you place the play area on the table, you can position your character inside of it to face your opponent. BAM uses a brand new environmental anchoring system to fix certain elements to your environment. So, whatever you do, whenever you look in that direction, those objects will always be there, perfectly integrated with the environment. BAM, it's not an exclusive to Quest 3, because it will also playable on Quest 2 and Quest Pro. Now let's talk about the biggest mystery of Quest 3. How does it improve game graphics? The trick, it's not just to the presence of pancake lenses and a higher resolution screen, but also thanks to a greater rendering capacity, which will work by default on almost every game, including those you already own, without developer releasing a patch. But how is this possible? Do you remember when on Quest 2 you could use some side quest commands to tweak certain parameters that could clean up the image, improve edge definition, unlock processor potential slightly, and so on? You will also remember that the more of this parameter you adjust, the more performance dropped, and of course, the processor suffered and its temperature increased. Well, Quest 3, thanks to the greater power of XR2 Gen 2, will be able to do more or less the same things, but without training, and most importantly, by default, without you having to change anything. Furthermore, some developers have already worked on their games to release an enhanced version for Quest 3 exclusively, enable additional effects such as dynamic shadows, lighting effects, and reflections that significantly improve the graphics. We don't know all of them yet, but among of the most discussed there are Saints and Sinners Retribution, Red Matter 2, Pavlov, and Guardians Frontline. Project Wingman Frontline 59, that's the full name of the new version coming to PSVR 2, with no exact release date yet. Unfortunately, we don't even have a release window, so the only thing I can tell you is that Project Wingman, although currently available on Steam as a flat game with VR support headset only, without controller support, is one of the best combat flight simulator I've ever played, even if compared to some full VR game of the genre. For one simple reason, it's essentially Ace Combat in VR. The controls, as well combat, do not involve simulator mechanics. They are simplified but very satisfying and fun. And there's a narrative thread rather than a series of random missions. Okay, it's the usual military story like in any other game of its kind, but it's engaging. And there are also boss fights that require time and skill. The PSVR 2 version adds a new campaign, and if you want to know the release date, keep following and activate all the notifications. And if you want to see a gameplay of Project Wingman, all you have to do is to ask in the comments. I tried using the Xbox app from the Meta store, but I put it aside right away because there were obvious stability problems, crashes, and slowdowns. Now finally, Microsoft and Meta seems to be serious, and many of these problems should disappear completely because this time you will be able to play Game Pass Ultimate on your headset. This means that the one you will be running in your headset will be the game in cloud. This is fantastic because Game Pass Ultimate is an excellent service that I've personally tried and has allowed me to play games like Starfield and Lies of P, even on my phone and with mobile data. Personally, if I'm going to play a flat game, I do it in its natural environment, on a console or on my PC, without having to wear an headset. However, this service will allow anyone without an Xbox or a PC to play all the game available on Game Pass Ultimate that support cloud gaming. And as mentioned before, the available titles are some incredible AAA games and brand new ones. Game Pass Ultimate will be available on Quest 3 in December. So let's see, 4K texture, adapter controllers, foveated rendering, and 90 FPS without reprojections. These are some of the improvements made to the PSVR 2 version of Red Matter, developed by Vertical Robot, which will arrive on October 5th, along with a translation in Italian curated by yours truly on all platforms. The price of the PSVR 2 is about 20 euros, but if you already own it on PSVR, you can get it for free on PSVR 2. Remember that Red Matter is already available on Steam VR or on Quest in cross-buy with Rift. Well, these were the most important news of this week. See ya in the comments to discuss about the topic covered. Like, subscribe, keep following, support the channel using the super thanks button, or use my link Amazon to purchase Quest 3 or any other item to support me. That's all from Ben. See ya next time. Take care, Riff Raff.